Believe
All
you.
right, we should be hitting it here in a minute.
Yeah, well, now go ready.
Okay, and I'm gonna start because it says we are live. So, hello, inmates from the Book Asylum. I am Jen.
Uh,
Aw.
No, but we're still live. We're still live.
I am, yeah, we're still live, but the recording stopped. So
Um,
I'm Jen. I am here with these crazy. I'm leading today, and which, yeah, obviously you can tell because I'm stammering all over the place. But welcome to the Book Asylum podcast. And our usual group is kind of here, kind of not. We have Angel Ramon here. We have the lovely Doc. How are you? Just made it in. And today's guest is Paul Ieson.
I
So
sin.
sorry. I always mispronounce it. Ieson. He has a book out. He has two. So we have him on the show and we wanted to welcome him and kind of get an update on what his new stuff is and what's going on with you. So Paul, how are things going? Are we on book 2 yet?
Are we on book 2 yet?
Uh
Okay, yeah, all right. I'm busy at book. I'm trying to find the thing to post it on my
because
page.
we have one standalone, right?
We have this is what we have here. We have Twisted Life.
Is that the standalone?
This is Time Slips, Reality Shifts, and Aliens.
Is there going to be a book 2?
This is included in book 2. Book 2, Wendy just got done editing.
Okay.
And it has gone to DJ, and she's going to format it and make a book cover. And it is book 2 to Immortals Among Us Life as a Human. This is it. Book 2 is called Immortal Apocalypse. I'm not sure what the subtitle will be. And it is amazing. I am very proud of myself for doing it. I've got lizards. The lizard people that are in the book want to eradicate the humans. They
nice.
want to take the planet back because the way it goes several thousand years ago in this story is that the lizard species was created by the Anunnaki first. Then the pole shift happened, and the lizard species was either told they can live underground, which many of them did, or they could leave the planet and go somewhere else. And that species is the blue avian or the Draco. And then as you go through the book, I end up in the book nuking people. I nuked a couple cities, several cities, and then others. I got Bigfoot in the book. Bigfoot as a clan, as a whole clan, is helping the immortals against the lizard species. And there's a shapeshifter that I brought into the picture. And I did things like shove humans instead of shipping containers, and the lizard species would take them up above the Earth's atmosphere and drop them and kill them that way. And they would burn up, so they wouldn't have to worry about cleaning up a mess. Interesting.
Wow.
That's
Yes.
kind of ingenious. I mean, in a sick and
In a sick
depraved
and
way.
twisted.
Very sick.
I saw Jen's face. It's like, yeah, this is sick.
I'm
Yeah.
kind of impressed to say that I even know you. But that was really awesome.
When I find out what splatterpunk is, that's nothing.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
true.
yeah,
That is true.
You should try your hand at that, Paul.
That's a whole nother game. So, right now, so is this gonna be, excuse me. So is Twisted, is that the second book then, or is that
Okay, well, Twisted Life is its own book.
okay? So it is a standalone, but Immortal
standalone.
Apocalypse is the second book in.
Immortal Apocalypse is the second book in Immortals Among Us. The
Okay.
Immortals series, it's going to be
Got it.
because there's going to be a third book.
Okay.
But the characters, the two main characters in Twisted Life,
Mm-hmm.
which you are going to write about Tigger,
Mm-hmm.
Tigger and River song, end up finding out exactly who they are. You know, their parents, both their parents were aliens in this book. And so they find out exactly who they are and that they're actually part of the Anunnaki, which there were 6 species of Anunnaki, and like the Norse, Greek, and Roman gods were one species. And
Oh. Mhm.
all right, they were the ones that did not demand human sacrifice.
Hmm.
And
What kind of gods were these people? I've never met one that did not require.
That's what I'm
Fre-
saying.
well, Freya, for example, never demanded human sacrifice. You know, just to drop one of the names. So,
Okay.
um, anyway, I forgot where I was going.
Sorry. It was
That's all right.
completely my fault.
These are the characters in the book are the children. Books are the children of the old gods.
Okay.
But Riversong and Tigger are half breeds of that, meaning one of their parents are human. So they have abilities, but they don't have the abilities that the gods would have, or the people that used to be the gods. They no longer consider themselves gods. They consider themselves, they just, walk amongst humans, but they have the ability to go into a different world, and they reside there as well. Anyway, uh, another group of called the insectoids in this book here in Twisted Life are who gave the character Tigger the ability to time travel, and they did it over and over to this guy just to see what the outcome was and to see if they could get him to do what they wanted him to do. And he always refused. He always refused to play the game. So he ends up with the immortals in a mortal apocalypse because shit has hit the fan and they, need a place to live and they want to be around their own people who accept them and so on and so forth. Without giving too many spoilers.
Now, I know that this has been, this is like one of the few shows that I've actually been on that you've been on as well.
Mm,
So, because the last time I missed you.
yeah, you did.
So, you're gonna have to, if this is a repeat question, I apologize. That's not what I'm trying to do, but
Well,
I want to know where, what, what happened, who hurt you, or what happened to you in your life
oh, Jen,
to
you know
make
my
you
fucking
I mean,
history.
because you and I have been friends for a few years, but
Quite a few years.
I just, how fucked up do you have to be? I
Okay.
guess.
The very beginning of this book will tell you how fucked you up you have to be. Okay. I watched my mother put uh um nitroglycerin, the bottle of nitroglycerin in my father's drink of Pepsi. Hand it to my sister, who was 4 years old at the time, walk across the deck of the boat, hand it to my dad. My dad is on the radio talking to the Harbor Patrol, which was probably a few hundred yards away, and he died of a fucking massive heart attack. My mother has never fucking gone to jail, had anybody talk to her, won't own up to it. And I am a black sheep of the family because everything coming out of my mouth, as far as my family is concerned, is a fucking lie because she got away with fucking murder.
So this
Wow.
is kind of so I guess this is a follow-up question. Are any of those bad people reflective of any family members in your life? Just a yes or no. You don't have to tell me who.
Uh, and no, my mother is dead in this book.
Okay.
And her
All right.
husband comes, it's written as a storyteller, and everything's going to be out in audio here real soon. The stepdad shows up at the main character's house, and the main character is telling him his side of what my mother tried to cover up and tried to lie about, because in the book, the main character was supposed to have gone back in time and hurt his mother. Well, his mother was still a teenager.
So it's kind of like a John Connor Terminator thing.
It is, it's pretty, it's like I said, twisted life. It fits it. Time slips,
Yeah.
reality shifts, and aliens.
Definitely.
Uh,
Well,
because, and I have, we will talk after, because I've told you several times and you always blew me off.
Oh,
not
Oh.
true. I'm a busy, busy lady.
All
So
right. I have memories of, my mother playing the song White Rabbit when I'm in my playpen, 1963. When was that song recorded and released by Jefferson Airplane Starship?
Oh, I have no idea.
1969.
I was going to say it was late 60s.
1969.
Yeah.
And then they
So-
went to Woodstock and played it there, like right after they recorded it. Or
What are those called? Mandela effects?
that's not a Mandela effect.
Because
It's not a
because it's
Mandela
not,
effect.
no, because it's not the general population. Not everybody.
It's called
just
time
you.
travel, dear.
it's called time travel.
So anyway, that's the kind of weird stuff. The book Twisted Life takes place basically. It stayed within 100 miles of Toledo.
Hmm.
But he goes back into time. He lives at the Secor Hotel and the Collingwood while it was still active, and him and
Oh,
River
yeah.
play music there.
Yeah.
The piano player that jumped from the balcony and the Secor right there at the main doors, he's the
Yeah.
one that beat his ass and made him do well. When you read the story, you'll find out what really
For
fucking
those of you that
happened.
don't know, Paul and I are from the same hometown, Toledo,
Okay.
Yeah.
Ohio.
Toledo, Ohio.
So, and with two authors from Toledo, it's getting a lot of notoriety in our writing because that's where my book is based out of. T-Town.
T-Town,
So,
the Glass City.
Yeah, we're the two best things to come out of there.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Yeah, it's an hour south of Detroit. Nothing good happens there.
No, it's a mini Detroit anymore, is what it
Yeah,
is.
it is.
Detroit.
It's bad.
Yeah,
It's bad
but
here.
so how are you approaching coming up with this next story? Because I personally am having an issue with my fourth book. I'm wondering if it's just maybe the moon in conjunction with whatever constellation and my, whatever being in the right area is not jiving, or
Well, I'm putting Wendy in the third book.
Mhm.
And she made the comment, well, I better be a badass immortal. And not a human you kill off. I said, you will be a badass human. And my Kelly, by the way, is in the third book too, or second book, third book. Yeah, third book. I gotta keep count. But as far as putting together, I want to put together something that is original, but real at the same time, where people are, the way really things would be put back together if society fell. And I'm not sure how to do that.
I don't
But
think any of us are.
it would be
Yeah.
it would be I'm only making 3 books for the Immortal series. And then there's a spiritual book I'm gonna do. And there's going to be maybe it might be a story short, I don't know, but there's something that has to do with how River and Tigger met in the first place.
Okay.
Because River was born at Fort Meigs, well, not at Fort Meigs, but on the river. And so she got her name River there, and the birds were chirping. And so loud it was deafening. So mom called her River Song. And that's how she got her name. And I personally have a friend of mine who's named River, and this was way, she had this name way before Doctor Who ever came out. So it's
So, Paul, I want to ask you, so how much time do you spend researching and outside, things for the book? How long do you actually spend researching?
well, there's a lot of research that went on to this book.
Yeah, I could just
There's
ask.
and the other book, this book here, well,
Yeah,
I have been pagan. I've been, we'll just call it pagan for what, 40
pagan,
years.
okay. All right, all right.
I've got 40 years of study behind me. So I can take little bitty pieces of magic and all that kind of thing and shove it together to make it believable for a reader to read. That's how easy this book was.
Mm-hmm.
The concept of it, I would sit for hours and I would write a page or two or three or four while I'm sitting there, in front of the TV back in '98, and I'm watching the X-Files or whatever's on TV, and I get an idea in my head, and this would be perfect.
Uh-huh.
This happens next, and this happens next, and this happens next, and this one, I do paranormal investigation. I hung out with to Haunted Toledo, to ghost hunters,
Okay.
and all those kind of people. And I knew the background of the Collywood, and I knew the background of the Secor Hotel, which is not called Secor Hotel anymore. It's called something else. And so it was easy to put something together. So it was believable. At the end of this book are stories
Mhm.
about what you can find online about each of the places I talk about, about Collingwood Arts Center in the book. It is back in the day when it was created, it was a place for uh, all the children's homes and stuff like that were full. It was just after World War One. So Collingwood Arts Center started taking in these orphan kids, and the priest would sell them on the open market,
Mm.
human trafficking type of
Like I
thing.
said, great town. Great
Okay.
town.
Great town, right?
And
Tomatoes, great, right?
nobody knew anything about this until I brought it up at a meeting at the library on Sylvania Avenue in front of everybody. And they all looked at me like I was stupid. And then they finally figured it out. You
Yeah,
know,
but that was a common
um,
practice back then. I mean,
yeah,
the
it was
young
very
girls
common
would
back
would
then.
go to learn a skill, and they'd be taught how to fold laundry. They'd be sent to basically laundries.
Right.
And it was very, very common over in England, because of course you couldn't have
And
children out of
people,
wedlock. So this is a very common practice with the priests to sell the babies to better families to help fund their church.
people whine today about,
Yeah.
oh, this offends me and this is offensive and this, they have absolutely no clue the way it was 80 to 100 years ago.
Yeah.
And just a common practice, the way people thought and did things.
Right.
Just in
Mhm.
1985 is different than
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Even 1990s were different now. Now that falls right into my next question, Paul. That falls perfectly into the next question I want to ask you. Uh, what is the biggest criticism that you've received with your books? What's your biggest criticism that people
Since since the editor goddess Wendy has edited my books, I have no criticism whatsoever. Before then, yeah, I published them, they weren't edited, so they sucked. All right, but they're
Right.
edited now, and between Wendy and DJ, I have nobody's said a bad thing to me yet. I mean, I'm still waiting for the shoe to drop, and I'm sure it will.
it's a great
Yeah,
story.
it's a
I
great
mean,
yeah. I mean,
I'm a
based on what you're
storyteller.
saying, yeah.
I'm not an author the way DJ is, or I don't know. I haven't read much of anybody's work, but I'm not an author that way. I'm a storyteller. Mark Twain was the biggest influence I ever had, and he was a
Mm,
storyteller.
right.
So I can't wait to hear this in audio, because it's basically the whole time I'm writing it, it's okay, this is for audio. This is going to be great. And at that time, I thought I was going to do it, but since my health has declined and I can't talk, I can't read aloud anymore. So somebody else is going to do it out of Canada. I can't remember his name. So.
So, one question I have for you is, being in the metaphysical community, and pagan community, have you ever thought of writing a nonfiction, like, educational pagan book at all?
No, because I haven't really. You know how Llewellyn likes to censor stuff, and that is who I would end up having to go through if I did something like that.
No.
Mm.
No, you don't think so? I could use D for that.
Yeah, you can.
Oh.
Her and I have
Oh,
talked about it.
Yeah,
and
Angry Eagle, yeah, they
the
publish just
chat
about anything.
the chat is it says content not available on Facebook.
Oh,
Mm.
for your video?
For what we're doing right now.
Okay. I'll message Dan on that.
Yeah, Dan might have to show it on. I have to change his privacy settings to public, I suspect.
Yeah, probably.
But anyway, Paul, we have a question from Jack, and he asks you if you can go back to terrestrial radio, would you?
Yes.
You would. Okay.
Yes. Oh, I would. Yeah. What else can I say about it?
How long? How long were you doing it before you had to stop?
Oh man, I wasn't even doing it for a year.
Oh,
Oh,
All right.
wow.
When you drop in the 80s, when you drop the F-bomb over a mic that's not supposed to be live and is, you're done.
yeah.
Oh yeah, that yeah.
George
You went back to
Carlin's eight dirty words. Yep.
There was no I'm sorry, oh I'll apologize on the
yeah.
radio live.
I
It's
know what
you're
you're talking
done.
about.
Get your shit and get out. And it's just the way that it was
I
and
know
probably
what you're
still
talking
is.
about. Yeah.
As far as internet radio is concerned, I highly doubt it.
Hmm. Can I ask you, Paul, did you used to watch V when it was on?
I love that
Uh,
show.
I saw enough of that show to get a grasp of what it was. And it was kind of like, okay, why I would spend my time screaming at the TV, at the characters, because they're stupid.
Okay. I was just
It
curious
was a
because of
fictional show.
the reptiles and the connection to your books, sort of vaguely.
I have to know, how did you come up with names?
You sent me the name
I know you're supposed to answer the question. You suck at interviewing. Nobody else was asking. I know what I did.
Well,
Oh,
I
man.
used
I'm dying over here.
the one lizard name from what you sent me. The other lizard name is Scorpius. And where did I get that from? Farscape. Farscape.
Moscape. Moscape.
Farscape. The TV show
Farscape.
Far.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Yeah.
Got it.
That's where I took that name from. Because names can't be copywritten. So
Well, that's true. Yeah. Well,
So
we
it
got
was-
Lee Edwards watching us from Toledo. He's also from Toledo, Ohio. Lee Edwards. Hey,
Actually,
thank you
he's
for watching.
Hey.
living. He's living in Mansfield, but he was born in Toledo.
Oh, okay.
Mansfield. Yeah.
So Paul, I take it you've been to Oliver House?
I used to be a line chef at Oliver House.
I've been to Oliver House.
And
Yes,
did you
you
ever
have.
Did you ever see anything there?
No, but I've seen
No.
stuff at the Toledo Club, which is
Okay, Toledo Club. The
But-
yeah, a very they were very I went on a ghost investigation there.
oh, okay. So the yacht club you did, but not Oliver House.
Mm-mm.
So the Oliver House, Circe used to have her shop. Her and Taliesin had her shop in the basement of the Oliver House. And Circe asked me, she goes, do you think that there's a Bigfoot buried underneath the parking lot still? And I said, yes, they're still there. They just covered them up. You know, so there used to be a mound there, and around here they used to bury the Indians would bury Bigfoot sitting in a sitting position, and they'd make mounds and they'd bury the Bigfoot that way
Okay.
for whatever reason. And where the Oliver House sits is one of those places that took place. From
Okay.
what
And
Oliver,
it's just in an a very old part of Toledo as well. There's all sorts of stuff over there. All sorts of stuff. You know, all sorts of paranormal and weird things that happen. And I don't know if I've never had the chance when I was living in Ohio to go to the Serpent Mound, but that is also in Ohio. And I was wondering if you ever went there.
that's on my bucket list. I want to go to the Serpent Mound.
Same.
I want to go to the castle down in Lemoyne. I want to go back out by what was the name of that prison? They did Shawshank.
Mansfield.
Mans that's not Mansfield.
Yeah, it's Mansfield.
Is that Mansfield?
Yep. I went there.
Oh, yeah. I want to go back. I know I saw a great big old tree that was picked up, flipped upside down, and put back into the hole when I looked out into the woods over around that area. The first time I was out there,
Wow.
20 years ago now. And then, so I want to go back there with somebody and do a Bigfoot investigation with them, or be with them while they do one.
That's going to be tough because right next to it is the new Mansfield prison.
Oh, I wasn't talking about right next to Mansfield, but that area is,
Okay.
there's a lot of Bigfoot sightings out there.
Because
So,
they have a huge paranormal thing at the old Mansfield prison where
Yeah, they
Shawshank
do.
was recorded. And
I could send you pictures of my bike out there. I
and there's
was out there.
there's some parts of Air Force One that were also recorded at that Mansfield prison. But the old prison, they have every year they have some kind of paranormal thing. It's really fun. I've never been on an overnight. They have a haunted house though, like during certain times of the years,
They
obviously.
do. Yeah.
But I've always wanted to go on one of the overnight investigations and I never got to. Have you?
No, I haven't. I was gonna go and I didn't. Joe from 222 and Harold from Ghost Hunters, they went out there and they did their thing and they were doing
They go
ghost
out
hunting
there
and
at least
stuff.
once a year.
But they never tell me when they're gonna go, and it's like, okay, well, obviously you don't want me with you or something.
It's a private party.
But and Harold is so forgetful anyway. But he's getting up there, so but he's a good guy. And
Okay. So what is next? Are you gonna stick with kind of like, I mean, obviously you said there's only 3 books in the Immortal series.
yeah.
And then there's the Twisted, which is kind of like an offshoot, it's a standalone.
It was written as a standalone because at the time that I wrote Immortals and Twisted Life was released in 2020, the first time. So, but I decided that I was going to jumble all of it together because I'm not going to do another one of those. And so you wrote a book about how you just destroyed the planet, fucked it all up, whatever you want to call it. Now you need to write a book about how you're going to put it back together again.
Right.
You know, so
Restructure, right.
I got to write a book about how I'm going to
Just
put
the
it back together
natural
again.
order of things, isn't it?
Yeah,
Or
destroy
if it
you gotta
even
rebuild.
does get back put together again, you know, I mean, or does it get put back together again the same way that it was before? Which that I don't think it will happen the very same way as it was before.
Yeah, it's almost impossible.
You know, well, in Immortal Apocalypse, towards the middle of the book, I start talking about free energy, and the immortals are building free energy units because the power has been cut and all that, and they got to take care of people and have heat to stay warm and be able to pull up drinking water for everybody and all that, because the immortals are taking care of the humans. So they build these motors that are free energy, which that I know a lot about. You can go out into my shed and see. But you know, there's yet another thing you need to buy the book and read it for.
Well, so what's gonna happen? I mean, like, are you gonna stay in the same genre when you're done with the three, or
After
are you gonna move over to sci-fi?
I honestly could. I do know I got the spiritual book that it's been pounded into my head over and over and over by, well, you understand.
Uh-huh.
That has to be made. As far as anything else is concerned, at the moment, I couldn't tell you. I'm sure that there's, you know, going to be plenty more. But at the moment, I want to write something that nobody else is doing.
Yeah, you're trying to be original.
I want to be original, and I want to be the first at doing something. You know, so or something close.
How many books are currently in your head?
Currently, there are 2 published currently. The third one will be
No, no.
published.
No, in your head.
Oh, in
How
my
many books
head.
are running through your
Your
brain
head,
right
your head.
now?
One book at a time.
Oh, one book at a time. Okay.
You are a
Basic-
lucky
Yeah,
man.
he's like me.
Yeah, because I'm gonna say most
Basically-
of these people have 10 or 12 in their head, and it's like, no, that's a different book, you know. They'll
Yeah,
start
Well, if I don't
telling you
keep it,
stuff.
I can't focus.
Okay.
Yeah,
If I
yeah,
let that
Paul's like
happen.
me.
And I got so much going on otherwise, you know, I mean, and in the summertime, you're not going to see me writing at all because I'm always out on my bike. I'm always out riding somewhere. So it's the wintertime, and wintertime is what, 6 months here. So
9. Nice
9.
try.
9 months.
It's literally summer is 2 weeks.
No, well, Jen,
Let's not talk about
they're
this because we're
calling for
snowing here.
They're calling for 60 degrees this coming Sunday.
We had hail yesterday and a lot of rain. Like, it was raining outside and it was raining inside. So that was fun.
Well, hope you don't get this storm that we're getting because we were supposed to get rain
Mm-hmm.
and it started snowing about 10 a.m. and it looks like we've got 3 inches so far, and I still have to go to work today.
Well, our mountain is closed. So, like, nobody can come down that lives on the mountain. Nobody
Okay.
can go up because we have like a foot of snow up there.
Oh wow.
So, yeah.
Damn.
But it's
That's by
actually,
Flagstaff, right?
I think,
Jen?
no, I'm at Mount Lemon,
Oh,
which is just north of Tucson,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
northeast, something
I
like
remember taking my crappy van over that mountain.
Yeah, it's not
Route
fun.
on Route 15.
It's
I
not
didn't.
fun.
I thought my van was going to literally stop going
I
up
can't
that
imagine.
mountain
Yeah.
and start rolling backwards.
Mhm.
I mean,
It's a pretty decent amount. Like, we have tons of hikers. We have tons of lost people on there. It happens all year round. But
Oh wow.
it, like, right now it is 12:30 here my time, and it's only like 50 something degrees. So, not complaining, but it's definitely not 115 like I miss.
like
I
it
do miss
should
it.
be.
I miss
Yeah,
it.
okay. I did
do.
not miss it out there. I did not miss being in Sedona out there in the summertime when it's 100 degrees outside.
Yeah, but you
and
got all
you
those.
don't even sweat because there's
No,
nothing
there's
in
no
the air to
time. There's no time. It
you
just
don't sweat, and it's
it
like you go
evaporates.
through a gallon of water in an hour.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you go
Wow.
out hiking, and if you don't have 3 gallons of water with you, you're not going to
screwed.
come home.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
Yep. And can you believe we have people that call 911 lost in the desert because they're doing
yeah.
whatever they're doing,
yeah.
coming off the wrong side of the mountain or whatever they're doing. And
This is like, and then, and Kelly doesn't understand. I'll sit there and I'll watch Fear the Walking Dead, and they're out in the middle of the desert. She's got a half a gallon of water, and she's walked all day
you're
long.
like, I call
And
bullshit.
it's like,
Yeah.
and I'm screaming at the TV about how much bullshit this is. And she's going, "What's your problem?"
You don't understand.
It's like, no, 1 gallon of water an hour or you're done. I mean,
Yeah. Yep. 100%. So, okay. So when you become rich and famous author, what is the first place that you're going to if you could go anywhere and money was no object? Country wise.
back to my own planet. No.
On planet. Okay, let me revise. On planet Earth.
Yeah, but I don't want to go somewhere else.
Do you
If
have a
money-
country that you want to go and money's no object?
I really don't.
You're good with the good old US of A?
No.
See, I would,
He's just
me
indecisive.
personally, I'd want to do a lot of traveling, but I do want to go to either the British Isles or I want to go to Italy.
Okay.
I think I might. I want to visit the Philippines, or I want to go down south by, the islands down there south of Florida. I mean, but I have no desire really to. I'm not going to go somewhere like Cancun or anywhere near Mexico, or
No,
I'm just that's not going to happen. So I just want to experience what it's like to look into clear water and warm
Yeah.
water.
yeah.
And
Oh, good point.
so
Well,
with that kind of money, I can rent the whole island for a week by myself, and just who I want with me, and nobody else is there to bother me. But I don't see that happening. So
You're stuck dealing with the muddy mommy for
I'm
right now.
stuck. I'm stuck dealing with. Yeah.
That
So
it's a river that goes through our hometown and it looks like chocolate milk. Willy Wonka's chocolate river,
man, is that
Yeah.
bad?
the muddy mommy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Money
Lord.
mommy. It's that bad. Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Wow.
up until, well, I would still do that now, but when I was younger, if you fell into the mommy, you better not
Ugh.
inhale any of that water because
No, please
don't.
don't
Oh.
swallow the water.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Well,
It was bad. It's bad. And Lake Erie's green year round, not just for St. Patrick's Day.
Ew.
yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, they
Mm.
have, every time you turn around, they have some kind of algae bloom going on. It's pretty interesting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but you forgot to tell them about the Lake Erie Monster. Remember the Lake Erie Monster?
I do not. I've never even, the only thing that I know about Lake Erie is the Edmund Fitzgerald. That's
Yeah.
it.
The Edmund
Edmund
Fitzgerald
Fitzgerald.
went down in Lake Superior, not Lake Erie.
I thought it was Erie.
Nope, it was Lake Superior.
Okay.
It was
Superior.
it used to come to Toledo quite often, but it went down in Lake Superior in November during
I know it was
a
November.
major storm.
Yeah.
And yeah, Lake Superior
It was
is
Lake
like
Superior,
really super deep.
1975.
Thank you.
You're
Yep.
welcome.
Thanks for looking that up, fact checker.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
That's
there
thought
you
what
it
I
was
go.
do
Erie.
for a living.
For some reason, I always thought it was Lake Erie.
Well, I traveled Lake Erie quite a bit.
Yeah, and and please tell us what is down there. So you're the Lake Erie Monster. I've never heard this story.
No?
Mm-mm.
Well, that's because you're too young.
I'm not. I'm almost 50.
All right. Well,
I'm too young,
when
so
I
yeah.
was like,
Yeah,
I don't know,
you're too young.
18, 20 or something like that, someone, it was supposed to be like Nessie, only this was more of like a
Oh,
snake creature.
yeah.
And it
Okay, I
was
have
Bessie.
supposed to
heard of
It was
be,
that.
Bessie
and
instead.
Oh,
Yeah,
uh-huh.
I've
yeah,
heard of that.
and yeah, so, and everybody wore t-shirts that summer that said, I survived the Lake Erie monster. And,
Yeah.
Now it's
and
just I survived Lake Erie.
then now it's I survived traveling through the ghetto of Toledo, which is
I survived the night in my neighborhood.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I came from East New York in New York City, and it's just as bad as Toledo, I imagine. So, yeah, I'm
well,
sure.
but
It's a
when
different.
I lived in Detroit, me and my kids would make a bet every day of which direction the firefight would come from. And basically now from what I understand, because I don't live on the east side and I don't live in the north end anymore. I live about 10, 12 miles away from Toledo.
Yeah,
Something like, yeah.
country,
Yeah,
country.
I live out where it's nice.
Safe.
But anyway, where my father-in-law lives, he could make bets with his wife or whoever was at his house about what direction the fire was going to come from.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. Oh, man.
So
Home sweet home.
Yeah,
home
for
sweet
me,
home. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, for me and my friends who bet on the guy walking by was a drug dealer. Yeah, we always wondered the guy walking by us was a drug dealer or not. Yeah,
Well,
drug dealing was big where I grew up from.
I get a kick out of riding my motorcycle down Woodville Road past these dealers that have these motors on bicycles. And they think they're
no.
all happy and cool and they think they're the shit. And then I go by on my 1300 and mom, fuck you. And I just, I love it.
Uh,
And I've got a stereo system on the back of my bike now that's just as loud as theirs. So, and for that reason, you know, I can drive through the ghetto and play some country song that would piss them off. And because I'm an asshole like that.
that's cool.
Well, I got a question. If I remember correctly from, checking out stuff, you have a history in podcasting. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
You have your own podcast or
I
what?
did. Yeah. Black Swamp Radio.
Black Swamp Radio. You don't have it
BlackSwampRadio.net.
anymore or?
I don't.
Oh,
It's been gone for 5 years
okay.
or something close to that because I got tired of each internet radio station that was into the paranormal and doing all that kind of thing. I got tired of the crap. And I said to hell with it, because and I got tired of people like what the hell was her last name was Wade. It was Art Bell's daughter. I had her on my station at night from midnight until 4 o'clock in the morning. Half the
Wow.
time she wouldn't say a word to anyone.
Uh-huh.
She didn't just screw me over. Heather Wade, that was her name.
Oh,
She
I
wouldn't
know
just
I've heard that name Art
she
Bell
wouldn't
before.
just screw me
yeah.
over. Art Bell was on 1370, y'all, and he had his 4 or 5 hour show about the paranormal, whatever book, and all that kind of thing on AM radio.
Dungeon Dan
And
said Art Bell's the man.
but when you have people like Heather Wade, I've dropped her because she royally pissed me off, and still, and she would just disappear. And she'd
Mhm.
disappear for 3 or 4 days and not say a word. And you got all these people who are supposed to be carrying her show on their stations,
Mhm.
and they don't know what to
Mhm.
do
Right.
because they got the spot to fill.
And now
You know,
it's empty because
and
she's
it's
gone.
empty. And then you got other radio stations that say they're gonna do this and do that, and they don't, and they go off on you like it's your fault. And anyway, who cares, right?
Well, I guess I got we talked about podcasting, we talked about your books and everything like that. Dan and I watch like the Y Files, and I don't know if you've ever seen that. Have you ever seen that on YouTube? The
No,
Y Files?
no, I stay away from YouTube.
I actually think you might like it and enjoy it because he goes into and does a lot of investigating on a bunch of science and a bunch of people who he does paranormal, he does aliens, he does, specific events that have happened in history. He's just AJ, I think that's his name is AJ. He's in Hecklefish. He's got a lot of cool stuff. You might actually enjoy his podcast. It's very professionally put together. He does real good with it, but I didn't know if maybe you watched it because that's one of me and Dungeon Dan's guilty pleasures. We like watching the Y Files and stuff. What do you do on your time away when you're not writing?
I do stuff around the house or I ride my bike. It's
That's
great
it.
it's great to be retired. But then I've got, let's see, and there's a brand new baby who can't even crawl yet. There's times when I get to watch the babies for the weekend. And the older sister, Willow is like, she's doing her own thing all the time, but so I take care of that, or I take care of company, or I go out and, I've got 3 acres of grass I get to cut every week.
Oh, that
There's,
that sounds fun.
I've got 17 acres of swamp back there.
Wow.
Sort of. I've got half that, and the other guy, you can't even tell whose is whose. But I mean, so yeah, there's plenty for me to do. It's just the fact that she works, so I get to cook. I mean, I've got. It might not seem all that to somebody who is like a chicken with her head cut off, Jen.
Oh,
I don't
But
know
it
what you're talking
trust
about.
me,
shots fired.
trust me. Once you can just enjoy it now, And then I got my writing in the wintertime where I will sit in when everybody's either at work or they're at school or whatever, and I can sit in there and I can write and I can just do whatever I want, or I can pace the house like an old person.
I like
Yeah,
it.
that's the dream retired life. That's the idea of being retired, I guess.
Many a day I'll be pacing the house like an old person, going, "What do I do? What do I do?" Dead air.
I'm like, so what's going on? Because it just like all of a sudden just cut off.
Yeah.
So basically we're looking for one more book from you, and then you don't know what.
Well, I've got this short story book that's coming out after that will be released probably in March. Should be out March,
When you
and
say short story book, is it like an anthology or a novella?
it is 20,000 words.
Okay.
Oh,
It
so it's a
is
novelette.
it is 20 short stories
Oh,
about
connection
all
of
the
stuff.
hauntings and whatever that are around the area.
Hmm.
That's what
Yeah, I've
kind of a
read
book
I've
it
read
is.
books like that before.
Okay, that book is coming out after Immortal Apocalypse,
Hmm.
and then we're gonna have Immortal, the third book in the Immortal series, and after that, it's just a spiritual thing that I'm going to do when I get tired of listening to the voices in my head tell me that I need to do that.
Hmm.
There's no better way to say that than
There
that.
really isn't. There really isn't.
And um, which also I might add, writing this book, I
Right.
had over my shoulder telling me what I was allowed to write in here and what I wasn't. Jen understands.
Yeah. Sometimes
Yeah, the
spirit
book.
has a way of being bossy.
Well, I learned the hard way. You listen or your ass is going
Or
to get
yeah.
kicked.
Yep.
You know, there's no two ways around that.
True.
So
Now, Paul, I got one more question for you. In the metaphysical world, uh, do you believe in mediums, or are you the kind of guy that believes in a mediumship?
let's put it this way. I am empaths, mediums, psychics are very real.
Yeah,
Uh,
I tend to agree.
fortune
Actually,
tellers, however,
fortune tellers, yeah.
who claim that, okay, it's, and I'm a Reiki master, I'm a witch,
Mm,
and I can do all this. There's times when I can do everything you're talking about. And then there's
yes,
times that will go on for days that I can't do anything. I can't see, I can't do anything at all. See
right,
with,
right,
third eye, see whatever they want to call it these days. That's the way
mhm,
that it truly works. So
right.
someone who claims that you have a spell on you that's generational and you need to pay me this amount of money and I
Oh,
will
yeah.
take it
Hmm.
off. And when you refuse to pay them, they throw a spell on you. Those kind of people right there, I have a problem with. That's the best way I can put it without attacking anybody. Because it's a general statement.
Right, right.
Uh,
Yeah, I grew up with
so,
fortune tellers like that.
but,
Infomercials in the 90s. They say, "Oh, I can read your fortunes and all that."
and
And
I'm
I
going to
might
tell
spend
you
some
what,
minutes.
anyone who has, let's just put it this way, and I'm going to piss people off this way too. Anyone who has a gift will not charge you to use that gift.
Exactly. Well,
They,
yes, yes.
it might be, okay, well, if you do this for me, I'll give you 2 chickens, trade or something like that.
We
But,
barter a lot.
it's
Barter.
barter,
Uh-huh.
barter. A witch doesn't charge a witch for their talents.
Absolutely not.
No. Yes. That I believe in 100%. Yes, you got me there.
All right. So that's just the way that it works. And when in the same way with paranormal investigation, I might add,
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
paranormal
If you're
investigators will
paying
not
for it,
charge you.
right.
They
You're
It's
won't
paying
called,
charge
yeah.
for it.
you.
It's
They won't,
garbage.
they won't charge you
Yes.
for it unless something has been arranged prior because you have to drive 500 miles or something. And so you can't do it for free, you know, um, because some days you'll pick up shit ton of stuff and then there are days when you pick up absolutely nothing, and people who say I need 500 likes on TikTok before I see
Yeah.
whether or not I can get anything from this ghost and this doll that there was nothing in the first place. uh that is your red flag.
Yes. It's probably a scam.
And if I get hate because of me, that's the way I am. I run my mouth. That's why people have a problem with me, because I say what's on my mind and I will tell you the way that I feel. And you
I
know,
find it refreshing.
Yes, me too. I mean, yeah, you have to say what you be. Yeah.
and it's kind of like, going all week and not hearing anything from anybody until now. Can make you
One
feel like people hate me.
one last question. If you could say that you lived your life by one specific motto, what would your motto be?
Fuck it.
Good one. Fuck it.
Fuck it.
Fuck it.
Oh, there you
Fuck it.
go.
I live by fuck it. Be it that it's a fight that you're in with your spouse, mate, partner, whatever you call them these days. It's not worth it. Fuck it. It's not worth road rage over some moron who actually truly didn't see you because they're stupid, driving out in
Right.
front of you. So fuck it. Uh, the fact that the government is going to take everybody's refund this year and you have to pay. That's the one time when you don't say fuck it and go up and march on Washington or whatever. I'm not going to call for violence on the show, but
No, we don't do
No,
that
no.
here.
I-
But
No.
well, I wondered what your, I just wanted to kind of, that kind of goes into, offering, a little bit of advice to new people, and whether they're just starting or whether they're having,
Oh.
whether it's in the writing genre, whether they're authors or whether they're just trying to muddle through life or
Well,
trying to muddle through an extra. That's this girl right
uh,
here.
a
Fuck
brand
it.
new, a brand new person to writing. You might be able to write 2,000 words one day, but 2 paragraphs the next day. It doesn't matter as long as you write something.
Absolutely.
Uh,
And
yeah, it just doesn't matter. You could just do what's in you that you feel like you need to do, and do not ever
Okay.
pay someone to don't ever pay someone to do stuff for you, like, this person says I can get you 10,000 reviews,
ghostwrite
blah blah
okay.
blah, and
Yeah.
stuff like that. The
Those
spammers,
false
you false
promoters.
Those
promoting is
promoters, yes, I
don't
know what he's
ever
talking about.
don't ever pay anybody to do anything. You can do all that yourself. You have to research, and find the right people, but
Yeah,
you don't ever pay anybody for anything.
yeah.
Because
Except your editor.
well, of course you pay your editor, or she will be very nasty to you.
The promoters, the people that spam you. Yeah. Just
Yeah,
Yeah,
go with a publishing company. And
yeah.
of
Yeah.
The truth is,
course, we're kind of biased, so we love our Angry Eagle publishers.
oh yes,
yeah,
Angry
chances
Eagle.
are those
I am
promoters are
so
probably
great.
from a third world country.
I am so grateful for Angry Eagle. Even,
Yeah.
and I'm grateful to you, Jen, for getting me in touch with DJ.
Oh, no problem.
I'm very grateful for that.
Well, with that being said, it is time for us to wrap it up. So where can people find you?
Okay, you can find me on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, you can find me. Well, I on Facebook I go by Paul Ieson, and on YouTube I go by Wise Frog. And those I've got an Instagram account that
You have
I
a
don't
website, right?
use. I have a website. I couldn't tell you what the address is right now, but I do have a
And we can
website.
find your books on Amazon, right?
You can find all my books on Amazon,
Yep.
and you can even, from what I understand, you can see the books that are no longer available
Mhm.
there too.
You
So,
can.
Oh, okay. And then Angel, let's go over
Yeah.
to you. And why don't you tell us real quick what you're working on right now? Because it's something completely different than what you were.
Yes, yes. As you may well know, for those who follow me, the Pina Canals and Rat series is coming to an end March 1st with book 4. It's the 4th and final book. I am working on now Frogs and Margaritas. It's kind of a spin-off, but it really isn't. It does take place in Puerto Rico, but it's kin of frogs instead of kin of rats.
Animals
It's
and alcohol.
There we go.
Yes.
You could ask for more.
It's something about alcohol
Saturday
that
night sounds like to me.
Yep, exactly. But yeah, but other than that, you can find me on Amazon, Angel Ramon. Find me on Facebook. You can find me every Saturday hanging out with Jen, Doc, and Jack, and Dungeon Dan. And that's pretty. And you can also find me on Patreon, Angel Ramon. I actually did a major rebrand for Patreon. I rebranded everything to horror. So yeah, so you can read so you can read the first 4 chapters of my newest book on Patreon right now.
Yeah,
if
you
join.
always put out some content while you're doing it on your
Yes.
Patreon. So it's definitely worth it. I was definitely a subscriber. Had to quit because we had financial issues here, but
I know,
back,
Jen.
it's getting back into it where I can actually resubscribe. So
I
Doc,
look forward to that, Jen. Yeah, because it's a whole nother content.
yeah, you don't want to miss it. Doc, where
Yeah,
can we find you if someone's looking for an editor? She is like one of the best editors I love her. I love DJ, and absolutely adore Wendy. All three of them, amazing, amazing editors. So where can somebody find you if they need a book edited?
You can find me as Doc Freed on Facebook. Strike up a conversation, or I'm Doc at Abo Arts, A-B as in boy, OARTS.com.
Love it. Very simple.
Thank you, Dan.
Absolutely. So,
Mhm.
I don't know if Dungeon Dan plans on coming on to ask or to answer if he's going, what he's doing, what he's up to lately, but Dungeon Dan's working on stuff. I do know that.
Yes.
So
He's been pretty silent, so
he's producing today. So he's
okay.
hands off today, but we are out. Those of us here at the Book Asylum podcast, we really appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much for being here, and we cannot wait to see you next time. Until next Saturday, where we have next Saturday we have Jay Bauer, and
Yo.
then I'm super excited for that one. He has
Yes.
tons of books. He's got this new one
Mhm.
out. I believe it's called Cadaverous.
Yeah,
It's
wonderful guy.
it
And
is
he's such a wonderful guy.
it's really, really awesome. So we're really excited to talk to him next week. And if you missed us, don't forget to watch us on YouTube. Like, subscribe, click all the buttons. All the buttons. We need them all
Yep.
clicked. Like, subscribe, and you can see all of our other past content on there. So thank you guys so much, and we will talk to you guys soon.
And I'll see you. Bye. Thanks,
Mm.
guys.
All right, thank you for coming, Paul.
Thanks, Paul.